The LOKE is now like a 2-year-old product, and it explores moving signals and short delays. And so what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to give you essentially all of the effects that you would find in a sort of reel-to-reel setup, where you have tapes that go out of sync with each other, so you can get flanging and chorus and vibrato and delays and double trackers and just preamp sounds. So let's explore that. On the left hand side there's a control for the wet signal and one for the dry signal, and at the midnight setting they're at about 50%, and that gives you like a 1-to-1 representation of your sound. So this is without it. And it's you almost can't tell the difference, right? So that's the first effect that it has available, just being a buffer. It's just a buffer now. Now you can make it in kind of an overdrive or a booster. Just turn up the This will work differently depending on your amplifier, because there are no clipping diodes in here. If you want that, you can get that from Fjär. It has clipping diodes and more gain, so you can make it behave more like a like an overdrive, like a true overdrive. But this is like a booster, so if your amplifier is already on the verge of breakup, you can make it break up. That's quite nice. Let's turn it back to just midnight and then introduce the delayed signal. Now, with everything else set to minimum, you can actually just use that instead. It'll have like a tiny bit of a lag to it, but it's almost unnoticeable. I think it's in the milliseconds, like low, like single digit milliseconds. So you can actually just use it alongside the dry for even more saturation, not necessarily more gain or more volume, but then you add delay time up top. Well, there's two modes. One is for a shorter delay time. This happens mechanically. So shorter delay time in the white mode, and then longer in the pink mode. It's all running off the same algorithm. So this is just mechanically making the range of the delay control shorter. Now we're squarely in the double tracking mode. That's pretty cool. You can add some movement to that with the random modulator, which is the other two smaller knobs. And depending on the settings on the top two knobs, which is the delay and the feedback, you can get chorus, you can get vibrato, you can get flanger. And so yeah, let's get a good chorus. With my chorus, I like to have a little bit of regeneration, a little bit of feedback. Let's make it clean, so you can really hear it. Oh, that's boring now. Sorry. With Fjord fuzz, not Fjord pedals. That's a good chorus. Let's get rid of the dry tone, and then let's turn down the delay time so it's in time with your playing, or as close as it gets. And now you have a vibrato. You can make it crazy. And it has a bit of thickness due to the feedback. You can make it drier. Or you can make it do like crazy sound. That's pretty cool. I like the flanging stuff that happens around this point, and you need both signals to be about the same volume, and then you need to increase the feedback, and you'll hear it start oscillating, and you can pull it back, set the modulator, random modulator, low, no, high, but slow. And alongside some drive, you have like... It's a bit much. I love that. There's also expression pedal for just the delay time, and so if you just set the controls to 0, let's just sort of make it feel like that's what's going on. You can kind of do this in real time, so it's a manual flange, kind of similar to what would happen if you actually had a reel-to-reel tape set up and put your thumb to the tape the way that the Beatles did, and it goes like... And you could do that with an expression pedal, which I think that's kind of where this thing started, and it just ballooned into what this thing is. Yeah, you can do that as you play, and so you can sort of swell into a double tracker. Add double tracking. Now this is more of a kind of slapback thing. Kind of thing. And if you need longer delays, you can get that too. And you can add the modulation, of course, if you want that. You get the point. This thing does all kinds of stuff. It's not a multi-effects pedal, but you know, you can do overdrive, vibrato, manual flange, random chorus. Why is it random, by the way? Well, I don't like delay pedals and modulation pedals mostly, because they always sort of get in the way. You can have a tap tempo or an expression pedal, but it's difficult to get it to line up with what you're playing. So my idea has always been, what if it never lines up instead? It just never lines up with your signal, and instead it's never in the way, or it's never more in the way than it should be. It's always in the way, but at equal amounts, so it never gets annoying. So that's the idea behind that. So yeah, I mean, a few years ago, I made like a huge video on this thing, so I've linked that below. So if you want to check out everything that it does, that thing takes care of it. But yeah, that's LOKE. You can get that at any time. So, you know, now that you might have 10% off, maybe this is the one you need, right? Go get one.